We're live. Hello, everyone. My name is Tamara Woods, and this is my channel where I talk about books and writing. And today, welcome to Writer's Workshop, a writing book club where we try to tackle our TBRs and elevate our writing all in one go. So today with me is CJ. CJ, would like to tell the people a little about yourself?
Hello, my name is CJ Blair. I'm a writer of things. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm at.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I got. I'm also moving, which is like the ridiculousness, this mess behind me. It's because we're moving. So please forgive.
I swear that has been the author tube theme song. I'm moving, I'm leaving
Well,
yet again.
I think it's something to do, like part of it is like the panoramic, in that we were all kind of frozen in place for a while. And so like everything that we might have done kind of got set aside. And then for some of us, like this is the moment now. And for other people, because of the panoramic, the need to move became a thing. So I think we come at it from different ways, but kind of with that catalyst.
I was one of the thing made me have to move thing. And that sucked. And I think that you are more of the it's given an opportunity to make the move.
Yeah. Well, and I think like for us, we had to move last summer, and we just didn't find the right place. So
that's true. But now you found it. Yeah.
But we have. I'm so excited. I will very soon. In fact, I think the next time we do this, I will have a new background. I will be in the new place.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. So let's say hello to the folks who are here. And I'm going to have to remember that you have a little bit of a delay, so I don't talk over you the entire time.
Same.
Right. So Jeannie, hello. Sarah, so glad you can make it and join us. Hello, MM. Jennifer, I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Hi, Aphrodite. Glad you can make it. Hey, Nicole. Rosalind, hello. Did I miss anyone? Okay, I don't think I did.
Spence?
Wait, where's Spence? Wait, I see Hey Spence. I have to move up. Hey, Nikki.
And yeah, Nikki.
Hey, there you are, Spence. Hello.
I saw somebody else. Who else did I see?
If I missed you, say hi again. Clearly, my eyes are terrible.
There's a lot of comments, so yeah.
I'm doing my best. Sometimes it's not that great. Okay, so today we are talking about this book. Are you actually going to write a book or just talk about it? An Aggressive Guide to Writing, Creativity, and Actually Getting Things Done by Brandon Q. Scott. So, the title is incredibly aggressive. Right. And I think that's what intrigued people in the Goodreads group and why it was selected. Do you feel like the tone of the book matched the aggressiveness of the title?
Yes. But I also think that he tempers it a little bit, because repeatedly throughout the book, he's like he'll start a chapter with like, you absolutely have to do everything I say. And then by the end of the chapter, he's like, remember, you absolutely have to do what I say, except you know what? If you don't want to, fuck it, don't do it.
Right. He's absolutely like, you don't have to follow my advice, but also follow all the advice. Because I remember in like the first chapter, he's like, I wrote this so that you will read it in this order. You will do the things I say to do, and then you will come back. There's after each section, there's an assignment. So you're supposed to read all the chapters, then do the assignment, and then go on from there. But I don't think that it's necessary to do the assignments. I didn't do the assignments. Go ahead.
No. You complete your thought and then I'll weigh in.
Okay. I didn't do the assignments. Also, if you are new here, then you might not be aware that I generally just read the book the day before. So the assignments would have been virtually impossible to do last night, this morning. But I didn't do most of the assignments because they are things that I have already done. And so like the whole blogging thing, I blogged for like 5 years. So I didn't feel like I needed to practice having a word count goal, daily goal, and doing that sort of thing. So I feel like, adjust to where you are. But I think that way with anything that we read, really, you have to apply it to where you are in life. So what did you want to say?
So I was going to say, so I got about a third of the way into the book and a thought hit me that this is the kind of book I wish I had had access to like 10 years ago. Because where I'm at in my writing journey right now, this is helpful in terms of like, there are some tips and tricks and like some good advice. But as far as like moving me up to the next level of whatever I'm, wherever I'm at in my writing, this wasn't terribly helpful for me. But 10 years ago, this would have been absolutely invaluable.
I agree. I really think that. So I feel like this was a book that was written for someone who hasn't written a book and hasn't really started that journey. And they're kind of teetering between, am I going to write it or am I not going to write it? And Brandon Scott's trying to give you like a kick in the pants, get you motivated to actually finish that first book.
Yeah. I actually I'm a piano instructor, and I have a student who is interested in writing, and he's been kind of playing with the idea of being a writer. Not like seriously, he's only 10, but I loaned him a couple of books and I gave him a couple more because, we have all these books and somebody should use them. And I thought, except for the use of the fuck word, this would have been this would be a great book for him because of where he is in his journey right now. And so I'm going to talk to his mom and be like, listen, I think this is a really good book, but it does use some rather strong language. So let you decide.
There are some F-bombs blowing up the pages.
Right? I really want him to read On Writing by Stephen King, but again.
Yeah, colorful language. Oh, On Writing's good. Let's see. MM, did you suggest this one? And you say, I didn't do the assignments this time, and you read the book and went back and did them on the second read when you first got the book. That makes sense. And I generally, when there's a book that has like assignments to do and stuff, I kind of read through the book first and then I'll go back and do the assignments as well. because I want to get a general feeling of whether or not I even like the book before I go through their things, unless it's something that like really grabs me. Then I'm like, okay, I gotta do the stuff. Sarah, you like the bad words. Of course you do. Never any thought in my mind that you didn't. But yeah, I feel
That's
like
why we love
this
you.
book, indeed, I feel like this book has like that kind of tough love kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like,
very much.
you know, I'm here as your friend and I'm going to help you get through this and you could do it. But, you know, if you don't shit or get off the pot, then you're never going to get it done, basically. So, but the one thing that kind of stuck with me, and I'm never sure how I feel about it, is that this book was a collection of recycled blog posts. And I always like, sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. But how did you feel about it, or did you care that these were blog posts?
So when I learned that these were blog posts, because he's really okay. Let me try that again. I appreciated that he was upfront about, hey, these are recycled blog posts. Just so you know, you can go out and read them on my blog. So that's really nice, like being told upfront. Since I haven't read his blog, I didn't feel like I wasted my money, or like, I like having things all in one place like this. And blogs are nice, but they are hard to reference sometimes. Like if I want to keep it for later and be like, oh, that's something I want to do later, I have to favorites it, and then it has to go in. Like, it's just a lot of work to like keep one blog post. Whereas in this case, I can put a bookmark in it and be like, coming back to that later. And when I'm ready to come back to it, the bookmark's right there and it's easy to access. I imagine, and this is only imagination, that there are probably people who do follow him and may feel like, really, this is just your blog post? I don't know about that. So I think I can see both sides of it. For me, since I haven't read his blog, it didn't bother me. How about you?
Yeah, I felt the same way. At first I was like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. And there were a few posts that I could tell were older that I thought, you could have revamped this a bit more. But other than that, I was fine with it. Smile, nod, and keep on writing. That is a quote directly from the book. And I thought that was actually like, it was helpful to think about. Like, right. So when you're writing and you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling imposter syndrome, or you're feeling like, you know, you're making all these mistakes, just smile, nod, and keep on writing. Keep calm and carry on, so to speak.
Right.
And agrees. I thought it was very nice that I didn't have to wade through all of his thousands of posts to get the content in the book.
Yes.
And as someone who had a blog with hundreds of posts and now the blog is defunct, you know, having a book with some posts would probably be helpful for people. Let's see. So one of the things that he stressed was practicing to get better at writing, which I think that especially when you're a beginning writer, you don't really think of, like, let's say writing those daily blog posts, you don't really think of that as practicing, right? But it is, you know, any form of writing that you do that helps you to exercise that muscle, it's practice. And I think that's important. And
absolutely.
And he mentioned doing flash fiction. in the comments, let me know if any of you write flash fiction, short stories, blog posts, anything that's kind of shorter form. And do you feel like that helps you when you go to your longer form writing? And CJ, I know that you, of course, have your long running novel on your blog, but do you also do any shorter form of writing?
I do not fiction. I do write essays and like I do a lot of writing for church. Most of it in the form of emails, but a lot of the emails that I write are they have to be, I communicate with a large number of people at once. So anywhere from 10 to 25 people. And so I have to communicate very clearly. And because of that, we're talking shorter in terms of like, yeah, Sarah's not wrong. Shorter in terms of like word length. For emails, I'm sure most of my emails are like ridiculously long, but in terms of like compared to noveling, they're relatively short. So I figure for me, that's a lot of writing practice. I also, in my former life as an administrative assistant, one of my jobs was to write or rewrite things that my bosses created, or they would give me, hey, we want to talk about this particular thing, and I would write 1,000 words, sometimes 100, and that. So I don't do short form fiction. I'm not great at it because, like CJ says, like Sarah says, always want information in fiction.
Right.
But I just don't. Yeah, I'm with you, Aphrodite. I just don't have the gift for shorts. I want to tell more about the story, and so conciseness is just not my thing. But I see the essays I write, the emails, the instructional materials I wrote for my former job. Those I see as all practice, because I think all writing is practice. And yes, you should practice your fiction writing, absolutely. And I think short stories are good. And I've written short stories. They're not great, but I've written them. But it's still practice. You're learning to communicate in whatever form you're in. And so that's, yeah.
And I think that it's important. I think that it's really important for us to remember that not everything has to be good for it to be valid and practice. Like Sarah mentioned up in the comments about merry-go-rounds are a good form of practice, which we did one last night on her channel during the live stream. If you guys haven't been and you haven't watched those, you should come next Friday. It's a lot of fun, absolutely hilarious and ridiculous, but it's like a really good way to exercise your writing muscle and be creative. Like I wouldn't say that I'm the best at writing short stories, but I do them sometimes, and I have written them in the past, or even, writing out like a plot bunny scene that maybe I'm not going to use at any time, but I had the dream or I had the idea or something sparked it, so I write it down. Even doing that is a form of exercising that writing muscle, I don't exercise my body enough, but I try to exercise my writing muscle. Shade to me, all the shade.
I will say one of the things I've been doing, so I'm working on a fantasy series, and I finished drafting book 1, and I'm in the middle of drafting book 2. And one of the things I changed about my fiction writing is instead of writing by chapter, I started writing by scene. And so when I'm working on a scene, I'm only focused on that scene. I do know that it has to tie into the greater story somehow, but it like, and they run like, some of them are a little longer. They're like 5,000 words, like Aphrodite said, but a lot of them are 2,500 words and 1,000. So I think for me, that works in terms of like understanding a shorter form of fiction. The idea that you could pull any of the scenes out of this novel and put it in like as a short story, and it has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end. It's coherent within itself. You might not get all the answers that I like to have when I'm reading, but, and so I think, yeah, for me, that's been a good practice.
So Spence says that they love flash fiction and it's super good practice. And in this book, he does break down how to do flash fiction. And I thought that was really, really great because you don't often see that kind of breakdown. In fact, I don't remember the last time, probably when I was trying to figure out what flash fiction was and I like went out looking for that specific information. But generally speaking, you don't get a lot of advice on writing these shorter things, and these shorter forms can be so helpful. And, you know, with the flash fiction, which a great point that he made was flash fiction needs to have the beginning, middle, and end. And, you know, you need to do world building and like there's tricks to the trade to do it. And, but having that small word count as kind of a parameter can really help you to kind of flex your creativity. But he also talked about word count as in having an X amount of word count a day that you write, and but also learning how long your chapters tend to be and learning how long that it takes for you to write that amount. I'm interested to know, you guys in the comments, do you do daily word counts? Do you have like a goal of word count for like your chapters? He had also advised figuring out how long your book's going to be and trying to adjust. So if it's going to be 50,000 words and you know, your chapters tend to be 3,000 words. Now you have an estimate of how many chapters you need to write. Do you guys do anything like that, or, you know, let us know. Always interested. And CJ, I know that you have a daily word count that you work toward. Would you like to tell us a bit more about it?
So I have a prop. I don't have a specific daily word count. I like to try to get 1,500 words in a day. That's like as close as I get, or around 1,500 words. But one of the things I started doing, I don't know how long ago it was. Beginning of this last year, in March of 2020, I started keeping track, and it's just a little like moleskin notebook, and I started keeping track, and like well, this will show you, like, it starts out really like very few words, you know, just kind of like, I'm just sort of keeping track. It's just kind of messy. But in April, and I did not do Camp Nano, but I decided in April I wanted to finish the first draft of the first book of this series. I was like, I'm done. I started it in November. I've been working on it for 6 months. It needs to be done. And so I started, and it just got
more and more detailed as you went along.
More detailed, like all of those. Each of those, let's see, my camera doesn't. Each of those is a day. So the squiggly lines underneath, like that denotes a different day, and I keep the date. And then the circled numbers are the total I have for that day. And I don't know that I hit that number every day. In April, I wrote 60,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did finish the, right? As of the 25th of this month, I've only written about 20,000. But part of that's because the moving, like that
life, man.
I have to pack. Life. But one of the things I try to do is write every day. And I have a couple of days a week that I consider my like cheat days, I guess is the best way to put them. Like a Saturday or a Sunday, because Sundays are very stressful for me. I'm very busy. And Saturdays because it's my rest day and I try not to do too much work. So like, if I don't write one of those days, I'll write the other one, but I try to take one day off a week and not, I can write if I want to, if I'm feeling the urge to write, but it is not required. And for me, I'm a big fan of keeping my goals lower than I know I can actually do, because, and I don't remember, we read a book that was talking about this. It might have been one of Chris Fox's books. But the idea that if you keep your goals manageable, then you can hit them. You can always go over the goal. And it might be that goal, like I started out at like 500 words a day. That was my goal. I can do 500 words a day without breaking a sweat most days. So I upped it to 1,000. Again, I was consistently hitting that and going over. So I went to 1,500. And 1,500, I'm not getting 1,500 words every single day. So I feel like that is a good goal because, one, I can go over it if I really push myself. But two, if I don't try, I won't make it.
Right.
So I feel like you have to figure out what, like Rose Lynn is 4,200 words a day. That's a lot of words. And if you're only making, I would say if you're 1,200 a day, despite that goal, you should probably lower it. But if you're making 3,500 to 4,000 words a day, 4,200 is a good stretch goal. So that's my
Spence. All right. So you are on a 68-day break from writing. You can join us. You can join us on the right side. Come back. We miss you here. We have cookies. You can bring bread.
They're delicious.
One day I want to be able to taste some of Spence's delicious baking. Just a side note, a personal goal for me. I want to be able to do that. Oh, Nicole, you're in author mode right now with your newsletter magnet releasing in July. But okay, so maybe your word count goals have nosedived, but that's a big accomplishment. Like, speaking personally, when I finished Midnight Murder, I felt real good about myself. Like, first of all, it took me for flipping ever. But then once it was finally done, I was like, yes. So, it's okay that you have to adjust. And that's the beauty of being a writer, right? We can adjust, we can move things to suit what's going on in our lives. It's nice.
Yes.
Hey Jace, how you doing? Krishna Kumar, to the person who's reading this comment, this is a random person from India wishing you all the best. Well, thank you. You're going to get it. Just get your butt on the chair. That is perfectly inspirational. And thank you so much for being here and giving us the wonderful words for the day. I like it.
Right?
So MM does daily tasks, so either editing or writing or media work. I don't write every single day, but I need to actually force myself to do that. I need to make that part of, like, even if it's just a 300 word minimum or something, just so that I am feeling like I'm getting further along. Because sometimes I will have a day where I'm just, okay, I haven't done social media in forever. I need to, like, just remind people that I exist. I'm still here doing stuff, because attention spans can be short. And so I'll do a whole bunch of social media stuff. But then at the end of the day, I'll feel like I haven't actually accomplished anything because I didn't write on whatever work in progress I'm working on at the moment. And I feel like that's like detrimental to how I perceive myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
So yeah, I have to. Aphrodite messaged me a video of your process. Excellent. Aphrodite always be like, Samara, I'm gonna help you.
She comes through.
I love it. It makes me feel good.
That is why she is queen.
She is. Let's see. There was a quote that I liked that was about being a writer. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, let me see. Oh, here's the Kindle. I was like, where did I put this thing? One thing that he talked about was something that I think is interesting because some people do it and some people don't, but writing to music. Do you listen to music while you write?
If I'm inside, I do. This last couple of months, I have been writing outside. I got an Alpha Smart in January, I think. And I really love it. I have a, what do you call it? I don't know. I call it my writing tent. It's not a real tent. It's like a canopy with netting. It's like a little gazebo. And I stuck it up outside in our backyard. And I've been the last 2 months. And it's we live on a busy street and we live across the street from a fire station, so it's not quiet. But the area that I'm in, like our backyard has like a little wooded area, like at the edge of the property. And most of the time, especially because I write in the mornings and early afternoons when most other people are at work, it's very nature. Like the sounds are very nature oriented. Oh, so nice. Rustling of the grass, of rabbit. There's a bit Warren back there. There's, the there's a baby bunny that comes out and eats like right next to my tent. Sometimes it's come into my tent and it is the cutest thing ever. It hasn't let me pet it yet. It's so freaking cute. There are birds. We have several nesting pairs of robins. We've got a nesting pair of cardinals. There's a woodpecker that comes down, and we've got an old stump back there, and it'll do some work on getting bugs out of it. Like, it's just a very natural place. And so for me, that really takes the place of the need for music. However, if I'm inside, if I'm writing here at my computer, I do use ambient sounds or ambient music, nothing with words because that messes me up. But I actually really like, there is I can't do it on my computer because my computer will be angry. There's a YouTube channel that does ambient noise, which I have used for crafting scenes. So I had a scene that happened in a marketplace. There was this, and I'll see if I can find the channel. They had a I gotta find it. I have too many. Ambient sounds of like, here it is. It's called The Vault of Ambience. And there's a guild of ambience as well.
Do you want to add that in the comments so people can check it out?
Yeah. So the one that I like is like a fantasy medieval town ambience. One of them is harbor sounds, seaside market ambience. And it's just like, literally, it's just the sound of a market, like kind of off in the distance. They have one that is Victorian London in the rain or something like that. And so it's sounds of rain. Every once in a while, horses' hooves clicking on cobblestones and the sound of like a carriage going past the wheels. I love them all.
I'm with you. I like music with no vocals because I tend to, if I know the song, I'm going to sing along with it, or my brain is going to interject a word from the song into whatever I'm typing, and I won't notice it until later. And that's really irritating, especially if you don't catch it and then someone else does. And you're like, oh, that wasn't supposed to be there. I was probably listening to the wrong song. But I like Chilled Cow. That's a YouTube channel that has just kind of like lo-fi music, and that's what I tend to go for. And then there's this indie music channel that I listen to on Spotify. Wake Up Phone, so I can find the name of it, just in case you're interested. And I love that you guys are giving some of your recommendations as well in the comments. That's fantastic. It's like we're all writers and we all have resources to share, and I think that is fantastic. Like Nicole prefers some ambiance.
Absolutely.
And you like the Autumn Cozy channel. Ooh, that sounds nice. And Aphrodite prefers words, and that helps you to keep on track. And that's great because you do what works for you. And I know with you, Sarah, you like to have stuff that's happening that's like, it's like having the distraction of the sound helps you to focus more on your writing, which I think that's really interesting. I can do the word things if I'm editing, but if I'm drafting, that's not the best. Coffee Shop Ambience and the Soul of Wind channel. Awesome. Nice. Love it. All right. I found the quote.
Enya is good times, Rosalind.
Definitely. Oh my gosh. Remember those infomercials from the 90s? Yeah. So this was the beginning of the I've lost control of my characters chapter. And little Bobby is talking to the doctor and his parents with him. And Bobby says, I see worlds, I see things move and talk. I see outcomes to things that are not there. I know they are fake, but they are better than what's real, or sometimes much worse. And his parent says, is he sick, do you think? And the doctor says, no, I've seen this before. He's a writer. It's terminal, but not an illness. I suggest you get him some paper fast. If he hasn't started yet, he will. and it will consume him. And I read that and I giggled because I was like, oh, if uh, becoming a writer had a
Right?
dialogue, like I thought that was pretty perfect. The channel that I was thinking of is called Indie Chill Out on Spotify. But yeah, and that was one of the things that I liked about this book and his tone is that you definitely feel like he's like a writer. Like this is his thing. Writing is his pleasure. It's his gig. He's like a writer's writer. Whereas some of these other books we've read, like the infamous One Star Book from Hell,
Oh dear God, yes.
he was not a writer. He was a snake oil salesman. He was terrible.
Not
The
what we're
brain is
looking
not-
for, thanks.
Yeah. No, thank you. Hated it. All of it. Were there any sections that you felt didn't really fit with the theme of the book? Or did you felt were unnecessary?
I don't know. I don't know that I did. I feel like there were things that I wasn't like were clearly not written for me personally. Like there's a section on horror writing. That's not something, but even though I don't write horror, there were still things within that section that I was like, oh, that's something I could use in my writing.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of this was, again, something I wish I read 10 years ago. Because I feel like, if I'd read this 10 years ago, I might be 5 years further along than I am now. But did you have anything that you thought?
There was one section where he was kind of talking about how this is like a second wave of creativity and we need to like band together and get our work out there. That I felt like
the Renaissance.
I felt like it didn't feel political, but it just felt like some, not even grandstanding, but like his own personal soapbox. And it felt awkward with everything else for me anyway. It kind of hit me wrong. Nicole, the book was called Authorpreneur, and there's a link to our live stream about it. That was literally the only time that we've like gone off about a book being so awful and yelled, and I'm pretty sure we all swore.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Oh God. Ugh.
So ugly.
So ugly. Made me so mad. So mad. So
that was one I felt like I wasted my money.
Yeah, that was I think that might be the only book that I've ever returned from like an ebook. Yeah, I think that I returned that because it just really burned my insides. Okay, so one thing that he mentioned that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to hear what you thought and the folks in the comments. He was saying that don't talk about your story, right? Don't talk about it. Focus on the writing. And oh, poor Spence. I think that was the only time I tried to read a book with the club, and it was the worst one.
Oh no.
Oh. I'm so sorry. I can't promise that none of them will ever be that bad again, but I mean, it feels
But
like
maybe
that.
just got lucky, and that's the only one. Oh.
At least the live stream was entertaining, even if the book was hell. Okay, so not talking about your story before you finished it, because, and I've heard other people talk about this in terms of like having a goal. When you tell people, "Here's my goal," and you feel as though you get that same rush of accomplishment by telling people about the goal, so then you're less likely to complete the actual goal. I mean, I but what do y'all think? Do you talk about your stories beforehand before you finish them?
Yes, but with a caveat.
Mm.
So generally, I only talk about them to one person at a time. It's somebody who, like right now, it's my sister. She dabbles in fiction writing. She likes a lot of the same. We have similar reading taste. So I will talk about things with her. Like, I was writing a scene the other day between two of my characters, and just this is a series I've been working on for like 30 years. Well, it's been in my head for 30 years. And so she has heard me talk about this in the past. So she has kind of a frame of reference, and I can tell her things like if I'm working through something and I can't decide, or I'm struggling with something, she's a good sounding board. But generally speaking, I have learned not to talk about what I'm going to write. I will talk about what I have written. So like if I have, or what I'm working on right now. So like if I'm, so the scene that I had just completed this scene, and I was high on like writing endorphins. And I came in the house and I was like, Cassie, let me tell you about what just happened. And for me, it was more like telling her about like an episode of a show we both like, and having a conversation around that episode. And like, then it was about like telling her the story. So I don't really like, nobody gets the full
Monty.
Nobody gets the full Monty, but like, as I'm working on it, and I know that I have said things to Sarah, like I've used Sarah as the sounding board. I've used my dad as a sounding board. And it's usually when I can't, either I'm really excited about something and I need to talk about it to somebody, otherwise I'm going to explode, or I'm struggling with something and I need a sounding board so I can be like, okay, I'm trying to do this thing and I can't figure out, and I don't really need that person to like talk back to me, maybe ask some questions, but it's like, okay, I need to verbally process this, and you're here. So now you have to verbally process it.
I absolutely do that 100%. I do that with, I've done it with Dana, with Carrow, with other writing friends. I'm pretty sure I've bounced ideas with Aphrodite, and I even do it with the math guy, and he has absolutely no idea of what's going on. Okay, no clue. And here I am, and then I'll like stop, and I'm staring into the abyss, and I look at him, and I'm like, "Hey, so what if Freya is in the kitchen and something happens and she needs to, and he's just like,
Yeah.
like deer in headlights, like just nothing's here. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm just like, I need to speak to you because you exist and I can say the words out loud. And then I work my way through it. And I'm like, thank you for listening. And he's like, you're welcome. And then he goes back to playing his game.
Yes. Yes. You just need somebody who understands that you're crazy and isn't going to try to commit you
essentially
involuntarily for said crazy.
Right. I'm like, I'm just talking, and it's way better than just talking to yourself. And I don't know why, but just having the body there for me, good enough. You don't have to tell me anything. You don't even really have to be listening to me.
No.
Just let me say the words at you. I appreciate you for doing it.
Thank you for being my warm body.
Exactly. MM says I talk about my stories too much, and now family doesn't read the books. Well, I don't think that I've. I developed this thing very young. When I was a teenager, I would tell my mom about the things that I was writing, and I would use her as a sounding board. I've done this all my life. Apparently it's worked for me.
Yeah.
So, but she would read my stuff still. She was like, I had this one poem that I wrote when I was in high school that was called Wind Chimes Echoing. And from that, my mom started to collect wind chimes.
Oh.
She's like the sweetest, you guys. Also, if you were here for my live stream on Thursday, I had mentioned that I was buying mom like a crap ton of presents for her birthday, which is on Tuesday. So she's getting like the way Amazon kind of is sending the stuff out. She's getting like a present a day.
Oh, cool.
But y'all, today she called me and she's like, Tamara, did you send me a monitor? And I was like, no, I didn't. So she got a mystery monitor, y'all. I don't know who sent it to her. I'm going to do some Nancy Drew when I go home, either tomorrow or Monday, and I'm going to figure out for her. But she got a monitor. And she was worried about me getting her stuff. I didn't get you no monitor, ma'am.
Right?
So Aphrodite says, I used to fireside tell my tales to folks, but she doesn't do it anymore. I keep my excitement of telling the tale on the page now. I share stuff like character bios and snippets, teasers, but not the story itself. And Spence loves talking about her stories. It gives you that vibe of plotting/planning, and that feeling makes you want to write the most. And MM bounces ideas in writing sprint chats and off friends on Discord or the middle vignette. That's awesome. Aphrodite, I could pay folks to read my stuff, but I could corner folks to listen to me, so I run with it. No longer do I do this. But you couldn't. All right, you couldn't pay folks to read your stuff, but you could get them to listen. I think like I don't think that I give like the summary or synopsis or anything until the book is either done or close to being done. Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes in writing groups they'll like ask you to share, and I never do. And it's not like I'm worried about someone stealing my idea or something, but I don't know, it's just something I don't do anymore. So, you grow, you change.
Yeah.
Whoa. This hour went like that.
Oh, holy crap. Yeah.
Right? So what's your bottom line? How do you feel? Do you think people should read it? Do you think they shouldn't? What do you think?
I think if you are if you are at the beginning of your writing journey, this would be an excellent book to lean on. I do think that it's a good reference for more experienced writers, even if you're unpublished, um, to kind of go through and reference um, different things that are helpful. Because I do think that there's a lot of good stuff in there. Um, and my only like caveat on there would be like, um, you don't necessarily, like, I would say if you're a young writer, and not necessarily an age, but like an inexperienced writer, following his path would be really good. If you're a more experienced writer, you can probably pick and choose which parts to follow and like work through. But I think overall, this is an incredibly valuable book. It's a quick read. It doesn't get bogged down, which is one of the things I like about the blog post style, is that it does make it much easier to read quickly.
That is true.
It doesn't make my brain hurt. Doesn't like, and I can say, oh, I can come back to that. So yeah, overall, I think this is an incredibly valuable book for any writer.
I think this, I agree with how it's like, it's a very easy read. It's not an intimidating read at all. And it went very quickly. I felt like as I was reading it, I was like, this would be really, really helpful for someone who is still trying to figure out how to get started.
Yeah.
Because as he said, it's like, it's a wall. Writing a book is a wall that you have to climb. So, and it could be very intimidating and it could be hard to do. So this is like kind of giving you some steps in order to get there, to get to that point. And I felt that was very helpful. I am looking to see if it's on Audible. Aphrodite. I see that there's an ebook and there's the paperback. I don't see Audible, and it should be like right here. So it might not be on Audible.
That's sad.
But I'm just doing a quick look, so you might want to check yourself just to make sure that I'm not wrong, because Lord knows I am not infallible. So yes, I think that it's, if you are kind of stuck in the how do I get started, how do I write this first book, or even if you're looking for some advice on maybe how to get some more practice in, how to try some different styles of writing. Like if you are interested in horror and you want a little bit on some flash fiction and things, this would be excellent, because he's a horror writer. So that's why he came from it and talked about horror in the book. By the way, I don't know if I'd mentioned that or if either of us mentioned that. I don't think we did. So, but yeah. And if you're a bit further along in your writing journey, this might not give you as much impetus to like get your butt back in the chair. But still, it was a pleasant read. I don't think it was a waste of my time.
No.
And the link for that is in the description if you want to pick up a copy. I think the Kindle is like $3 and the paperback's $8. So not a huge investment. And before we go, do y'all have any suggestions of what you would like for us to read in June? Can you believe that Tuesday is going to be June?
No, I can't. Can't at
all. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm going to be making the Goodreads poll for the book probably later today, either later today or tomorrow, and I'll put it in the Goodreads group. And the poll lasts for a few days, and then I'll announce on this channel what Writer's Workshop book we're reading for June. Spence, I'm out here like, wow, how did this even happen? And if y'all are hearing sounds in the background, it's the math guy's one of his nephew's birthday party. So they are partying it up. So I'm gonna have to wrap this soon. Ooh, self-publishing strong by Andrea Pearson. Okay. Let me write that down. Yeah. And by the way, Writers Workshop is a writing book club. And if you are interested in helping us to figure out what books we're going to be reading from next month, if you'd like to be in the Goodreads group, the link is in the description. Anyone's welcome, as long as you're interested in writing and you want to try to hit that writing TBR, which was the whole point of me starting this thing. So I was collecting a lot of writing books, but I wasn't reading them.
I mean, same.
I was like, it looks like the only way I'm actually going to do this if I hold myself accountable. How can I hold myself accountable? Oh, I can make a book club and put it on YouTube.
Drag everybody down with you.
Right? I needed you guys.
Accountability buddies. We are accountability buddies.
You really are. I needed you guys to keep me in track because doing it on my own was not working. And I do feel like this has absolutely helped me. Like, for instance, I think it helped me to up my newsletter game immensely.
Mm.
Oh, let's see. How do I find the Goodreads group? Never knew Goodreads had groups. There's a link in the description. But when you're looking at Goodreads proper, let me see. Do I have the... I thought I was looking at the Goodreads earlier. Here we go. I'll show you. Dun, 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 dun. And please do not look at all of my notifications on Goodreads.
Seriously, no judgment.
Don't look at it. So if you're looking at your dashboard, there's the community tab, and you click on groups right at the top. So if you have any groups that you've joined, they're over there on your left. And then there's browse groups by tag. So you can look up different things by the tag, or you can add your own tags to search there. So, and there's a ton of groups on Goodreads, from book clubs or fan clubs of authors, all sorts of things. Charlie, hey. Oh, Jace, are you still here? When's the deadline? Where's the deadline for your project? That I can't remember the name of. You know what, guys? I can't remember names of things, and I need for all of us to just accept this about me. I don't know names and stuff.
I'm with you. I'm lucky I remember my own name half the time.
The Pride and Prejudice AuthorTube anthology. And Charlie had made a video about it on his channel. Yes. Thank you, Spence. And there's a link for that to give y'all the information.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Okay. So, June 25th. Thank you. Ooh, have you guys done the fantasy fiction formula? No. Fantasy fiction formula. Thank you. You can do the newsletter. Once you
can do it.
Once you get past the figuring out, where am I going to have this hosted, and what is this thing going to look like, and what am I going to say every month? Once you get there, It's golden. It's just a matter of making yourself do it every month, which I haven't been the best at, but I'm getting better, y'all. And isn't that what it's all about?
It
Improvement.
is. Improvements is the key.
It's the key. All right, CJ, would you like to tell the people who you are and where they can find you?
Oh, I suppose. My name is CJ Blair. I'm a writer of things and an independent piano instructor. I think my link tree is down below. Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You can catch all my stuff there, including my serial YA fantasy serial, the South Yarling Chronicles. There's about 26 episodes. Eventually, I will get back to editing more episodes and posting them. I've been kind of distracted. You can also, if you're interested in piano lessons, I have openings. I do virtual, in studio, and in home if you live in Des Moines, Iowa. But yeah, I am over on Sarah Scharnweber's channel every Friday night, and I'm here every last Saturday of the month.
Yes. So, speaking of last Saturday of the month, 2 p.m., come and join us and let's talk about a book. Speaking of newsletters, I have one. So let's say that you're wondering, what is this cozy mystery thing? And do I like Tamara's writing? Does she know what she's talking about? I mean, maybe I don't, but you can decide for yourself, because I have a newsletter and there is a freebie for you, Midnight Murder, and it has 3 cousins who are all going to have a series underneath my name at some point or another. So pick up a copy. You get a free copy of the book and you get my newsletter. Link for that is in the description. Also, I do a lot of stuff here in the writing community. And one thing that you can do to support me, you can join my Patreon. So there's a link for that for my cozy community. I'm going to be changing the tiers up a little bit, adding a new one, and I'm going to be adding a Discord server for June. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in June. I'll also be sending out a kind of 2020 wrap up newsletter to some of the tiers, and telling folks what's going to happen for the rest of the year. So that's going to be really exciting. So if you want to be in on this community thing, links in the description. Also, I love Twitter, and on Twitter every Tuesday at 9 p.m. there's hashtag write stuff, where writers talk about writing. I hosted last week. This upcoming Tuesday, it's going to be Kevin's going to be hosting, but every Tuesday we talk about a different writerly topic, and I think that you would really enjoy yourself and you should come. Of course, all of my other socials are down in my particulates. So, follow me. And thank you so much for being here. Whether you're watching it now or you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a great weekend.